Everybody, wave your hand if you can hear us.
I hear
you. And Annie and Justin are there, it looks like, still?
Yes.
All right, cool. So thank you all for joining us on our first one here. There's probably going to be bugs. Obviously, I'm 6 minutes late, so my apologies on this. So we're going to record this. With the video on web, it's a little rough. I'm also recording on another camera. So each time we do these things, I feel it's going to be a big form of knowledge. So any questions, hit us up right now. Ask us the questions because we'll put this up on YouTube. And then in the future, everybody will be able to see this and ask questions. So I think that's good right there, right?
It's got you for...
Yep, we're good with that.
Okay.
Yep. So mostly because that way I can hit this thing both ways. So today we're just going to pretty much focus strictly on the SideKick, and we're going to go through it, why it was started, and just try to give as much information. That way the sales team just should be as armed as possible. For me, why was it important to create the SideKick? I felt it was important to create the SideKick because I thought most of the other portable vaporizers out there just weren't cutting the mustard. And one thing was that stirring the bowl when you're using convection is highly important because you're just roasting on the outsides. This vape is a hybrid of convection and conduction, but mostly it's going to be conduction. So that's why we want to stir it up, and that keeps it from just roasting too much in one area, and it keeps it just, it's what's going to give the best flavor. I also felt having removable batteries was going to be a highly important thing because batteries are usually the failure of everything. I mean, we know about the Samsung thing, even the iPhone thing now. There's nothing that anybody can do with the batteries other than make them removable. So as much as I wish our batteries were super great, they are what they are with the technology. One super great thing about our batteries is even if you have them in your pocket, and some reason they short out, they will not get hot enough and explode. They will get hot enough to burn the shit out of you, but they won't explode in your pocket. There's just not enough energy in our little batteries for that. So that's the positive of having our small batteries, is there's no chance of them exploding up. Because we do know we're going to hear our batteries are not, they don't last that long and this and that. And I do get that, and in the next model, I think we got a solution for that, but this model right now, the solution was to give a second set of batteries, and and they won't blow up on you. The obstacles that I had when making the SideKick, we're trying to get it to have a nice cool breath in there, and that we solved up with our Vortex thing. That took a while to complete and do. The biggest thing was just these batteries. So the reason we stack our batteries in a series is because when the battery itself runs at 3.4 or 4.2, depending on how it's charged, but average they say 3.7 volts. When we stack them in series, it actually jumps it up to basically 7 volts or 8.4 volts or however it works like that. And then when the voltage double like that, the amperage can cut in half. And this thing is designed to run and run and run and run as long as the batteries, are good. I've been at a trade show and I've ran this thing the entire trade show, and then we took it out for parties that night and ran it the entire night. So we've literally ran this thing probably, 10, 12 hours just nonstop, changing out batteries, but the heater can take it. It's not like the pens where you press it really quickly and it's off in a couple seconds. This thing just keeps running for a long time. Most of the power is used up during the heat up process. So if you can heat it up one time and run a couple bowls through it, you're going to get more bowls through it than if you heat it up, let it cool down, heat it up, let it cool down. Yep, and I think that's kind of it. So basically, to go over this thing, everybody knows that this is the power button right there, and you're going to just press and hold that for 5 seconds. That turns it on, gets it into the running mode. And for dry herbs, I prefer between 6 and 8.5. I personally run it at about 8 because I like to get a little bit bigger hits, and I like the roasted flavor to it, but I really stir it up a lot when I'm using it, and that keeps it from going, you know, roasting up a little too much. So if you're doing just dry herbs, one thing on this, you're always going to want to know that this stir tool right there, you want it in the back towards the piece, and then that's going to drop it in so it sets in just like that. I don't know if you guys seen that. If you got any problems with it not going in, that's because that thing's hitting there. Or if you got problems and you're not paying attention to get it out, it's because your tool is not towards the back. So we put a white mark on the top of this thing up here. So whenever that white mark's out, the tool is towards the back. And if you take it apart, you can change that out, whatever, but you can dial that in once you get it from the screw. What's next? If you're doing just dry herbs, you're going to just open up the top and you're going to drop in some dry herbs in there and then close it up. Turn it on, press it, and when it heats up to your thing, it'll vibrate and let you know. And I just highly recommend that when you're using it, just keep stirring this thing. It's like a fidget spinner, and just keep stirring, stirring, stirring. And that's going to give you the most uniform, even heating of everything. If you want to do just concentrates, we have our oil can right here, and you can drop that in. It's best if the little hole is towards the back, and that allows the vapor to come through and everything. And then once that's in there, you're going to just drop a little bit of dab in there. Or what I prefer is just drop a little bit of dab on this tool right there. And then when you put it in there, it'll heat up and it'll go into the bottom, and it makes it easy. My real favorite way to do this is to not use this thing, because you need to clean this every time you're done with the oils, because there's going to be leftover lipids and waxes, and those are not going to vaporize off because we run it at a perfect vaporizing temperature. And reality is you don't want those things to vaporize off, but you need to clean it up because you're going to build that up, and then if you turn it sideways, it's going to spill out. So my favorite way is to go ahead and put a little bit of herbs in there, and then put a small dab on this, and then put it all into there, and then let the dab go out into the dry herbs, and that's going to keep everything a lot cleaner. And then when you're done with it, you can just scrape that out, and your dabs are in the dry herbs right where it went, and it just enhances everything. It makes it last a little bit longer and bigger hits and whatnot like that. So that's that. This is obviously your glass mouthpiece, and that goes in and out. And if you're having troubles getting it out, the easiest thing to do is to just take a little bit of this, and we don't put a whole lot, but it's got some coconut oil in there, and just put a little bit on there. If you can't get anything out, just put it in your hands. It'll warm up and it'll liquefy and get a little more juicier, and then you can do up and down, and then that'll get it nice and wet and everything, and goes easier to do. Once the silicone kind of gets penetrated with the coconut oil, it'll be pretty good, and it'll last in there quite a long time. The batteries, changing those out. We always want to have the nipples facing up. So nipples up and everything's good. Keep them in the same way. If it's the other way, it won't work and whatnot. Taking this thing apart that we already got it apart, this is how you get the bottom out so you can get to the cooler. When it's clean like that, it's just going to flow right out, no problem at all. But if it's been used up a lot, that's going to be stuck in there. You're going to have oils that have dried it up in there. So what I recommend is just using a pick or your tool, and then you can just go down in this little hole right here, and then just push that out, and it'll push it right out, pull it out, and that's where you're going to have all your gunk lined up. And then sometimes you're going to have this whole tube will come out, and that's actually good too. So you can get that to come out, and you can throw all this in your a bag of alcohol to let it cool up, or not cool up, but clean up. And then this one can also come out, if down the road it gets real dirty, you just kind of push that thing out with a pick. Then you just plop that back in there and you're good to go. You can throw this in to clean in alcohol as well. And this little screen or stainless steel piece will come out and you can clean that up, and then it just slides back into here. And the reason this is 2 parts and we couldn't make this in 1 part is because you just can't really make a solid piece in silicone. So this was our solution to this, and it goes in there like that and goes back in there like that. So that's how that works, and bada bing bada bang. And then those go back in there like that and goes in there like that. And then whenever you're putting this in, you're going to want to make sure that this piece is back, your latch is back, and then just lay that in there, close it, and then push your latch up, and then that will hold it and lock it into place. We did have a spring that closed it in there, but we removed that out, so don't even worry about that. It's best if it's loose, because if there's a spring, people want to close it, and that doesn't work. In the next model, we do have that problem solved to where you can just press and close, but for right now, you must press and hold this back and then push forward, and then everything's good to go. What's the next thing?
Mouthpieces.
So yeah, then the next thing is the upgrades for that. We have a couple different mouthpieces. We have a custom bubbler right here, which is 100% made in the USA. And then we got our foreign artisan bubblers, which are great. They're super great. And they all just plug right into this piece as well. Either one, and then it just fill it up with some water. So that's that. We also have, this is our 180 degree, and I prefer this one the best out of all of our mouthpieces for hooking up to a water pipe, but then you can hook it up to any water pipe. And this piece right here is designed to go from basically a 10 millimeter female to a 14 male and female up to a 19 millimeter male and female. So it's very universal with this piece, and it'll hook up to almost any vape.
Got the carrying case.
Yep, and then so every one of these sidekicks also comes in this carrying case. We have a piece right here so you can load it up with even more batteries if you're out on a big trip or whatnot. And then back here we have our area where our charger goes into, and it comes with both an adapter for your car and the adapter for your home, so you can charge it up in your car or whatnot. Sometimes we do recommend, if you use this a lot, to go ahead and get a second charger so you can leave one in your car and leave one in your house. We got our little toolkit right here. This little toolkit is just a little place that when you get these things, you'll have your tongs in there, your brush, your other parts and pieces in there, and you can throw that in there. Some people just leave all that at home and take that out, but it does stay in there. And then we got our battery things. So when you get your unit, what we want to do is put one sticker, a sticker on each set of batteries, and so these don't have them, and then you'll just go ahead and do this. And what this does is it just keeps these batteries to stay together as a set, so they age together. That's the big thing. So they age together and go down and degrade together. So if one battery is degraded worse than the other, it'll suck a little more juice out of it. And that's again why we can't charge these in series, because if they're charged in a series, one will charge up before the other. So that's why they must come out and charge in the unit, because each cell needs to charge individually. So that's what the stickers are for, to keep those different. Do not put a sticker on any of these contacts, otherwise your batteries won't work. People who aren't sure about batteries or haven't really dealt with batteries might put one down there. You don't want to do that, because no contacts means no juice will flow for the power. What's another thing?
7 colors, and then the laser engravable.
Yes, so these units come in 7 different colors. They come in red, black, silver, green, my favorite, purple, gold, and blue. Another thing about these is they can all be laser engraved back here. We have some standard images that you can get done, which we didn't have an example here.
We did not.
Do you have that grinder? So do that. So just like the grinder, we can go ahead and engrave anything on there. Words are easy to do. If they're images, we need them in just black and white, and we can laser those in there for custom images as well.
That's the list.
And that's kind of the list. One thing when you're using this thing and you're done with it, I highly recommend every time you're done with this, smoking a bowl with the dry herbs is clean it when it's hot. The oils are really, really wet. They'll clean off easier. So you just kind of dump that out, move this around, do all that stuff, blow it out, clean it up like that every time you're done with it. And it's just going to be ready for the next time that you're good to go. And then that small little bit of maintenance really helps. And then same with this. When you're done with this, I also clean this off. Just kind of clean it up, do that a little bit. And then that keeps that really clean. And then you're ready to go next time. If you wait till next time, this shit's just not going to clean off. The oils have dried up, they're sticky on there, and it's just going to be a pain in the ass. So it's better to just keep it clean right after that little bit of maintenance, just like wiping your ass. Keep it clean, and it's going to keep your day nice and fresh. At least we got some laughs out of there, right?
Hey, can you go over that real quick?
Say that again, sorry.
The warranty on it, a 1-year warranty.
Yeah, so when you get it, it comes with basically, I think it's a 30-day warranty. And then when you register it with 7th Floor, it bumps that up to a 1-year warranty and everything. The reason we do this is that way the goal is we get the end person's name and we know that they bought it from us and we can keep track of all that stuff. And we really want their information. That's a big thing on a lot of this stuff.
A replacement base unit too, you might want to.
So yeah, that's another thing. If there is a problem with your warranty, we've come up with a solution that if they can send it to us. Hey, there's Canna Pam. She's on her way. Tommy, send her over to the 1420 side.
I'll send her over there.
All right. So we got Canna Pam that's going to join us. She's going to help us out with the at-home parties a little bit. And then after this meeting, we'll talk more about the at-home parties because Annie and Justin, I think this will be really huge for you guys down there as well. And I'm really excited about that as well. But yeah, to go back to the warranty, what we found, what is the pricing on the warranty?
$45 for the base unit.
To just swap it out. Mm-hmm. So what we found is if after the warranty they can send it to us, and if it's our fault, we'll take care of it, but they're going to have to pay the shipping here and back. So what we found is kind of easy. One, this helps us get through some of our units, but the big thing is it takes care of the customer just the best way we can. And so what we found is for $45, we will just go ahead and send you a brand new unit, minus a mouthpiece, minus batteries, minus the bag, but you get a brand new unit and it's just easier on you. That way you're not sending one to us, we're sending it back, fixing it. We found this to be just a little bit easier for everybody all around. We're still happy to fix one for anybody, especially if it's warranty. They can send it to us. We'll take care of it free of charge, but the shipping's still going to have to be paid for. So
On the customer, yep.
And then the $45 actually includes the shipping there and back. We'll get you a call tag. So we feel that has been a really good solution, and everybody's been really happy about that.
Mm-hmm. I think that's about it.
I think that might be it. What other questions you got, Annie and Justin?
Is there something that comes with the SideKick that lets the customer know that they need to go online and register it?
There is. So in this is the warranty. So on the back, right here, they have a little warranty thing right there. It says register it, and then by registering it, they're going to get a discount code to get something off on an accessory on the website, and something like that. What else? Remember, any questions you guys are thinking, probably somebody else has them out there, quite the same.
That's really, you pretty much answered all my questions.
All right. It is, I don't think I mentioned the vapor path. When this is pulled out, almost as far as it can go, and the Vortex coolers in there, you're right around 16, 17 inches. I have heard the 18, which it could be almost 18 if you really pull it out there. I like to say it's 16 inches. It keeps us really safe, and then if it's down like that, it's really at 16. And how did I get that crazy number? Well, this piece right here, if you wrap a wire around this, and then go around and then unwrap it and come out, it's actually 11 inches of air path. So with this 11 inches plus the 4 up plus the mouthpiece is where we get that total out there. And that's how I think we get the coolest vapor on the market. And cooler vapor, I think, enhances the flavor just for the fact that you're not burning your mouth as well.
That's pretty thorough. This is pretty thorough.
The batteries, I think when they're fully charged on this thing, they're going to say 8.4, and that is because each battery fully charged is actually at 4.2, which in your thing, if it's a digital one, it'll say 4.20, which is kind of neat for the 420. How that all ties, I don't know. It's magic, but we love it. These batteries actually say they are 3.5 or 3.7 amps, but when they're fully charged, they're 4.2 volts, 4.2 volts. When they're about dead, it's the 3.7. When they're dead, it's 3.5. So double that. When this thing says 6.4, your batteries are toast. They need a full charge on them. Doesn't hurt if they go down that low, but your batteries are they're dead. They're not going to charge up. So I think when the batteries are reaching their life expectancy and they won't take a charge, they're probably going to say, fully charged 8 or something like that. And that's going to be after months and months of use. Lithium-ion batteries can only take about 300 charges before they start degrading, which is going to be slight degradation after time. Probably about 500 charges when you're going to really see a lot of degradation. Hey, it's Pam.
Oh, what are you doing?
Tigger.
Tigger, get out of there.
Oh,
Come have a seat with us, Pam.
sorry to interrupt.
No, this is perfect timing. I jacked up and this meeting was set for 9 o'clock and I told you 9:30. So I will definitely go over everything with you on this. And then
You were on the top of the list.
yeah. So one thing, your perfect timing for the at-home parties, because we're going to... Is there any questions we got about the SideKick or anything? Have you heard any negative things about, I don't know, negative sale things that I could maybe answer you? Or if you're down the road, you want any questions, like, hey, I can't sell this for whatever reason, they have these questions and I don't know how to answer, you can come back to this YouTube. We're going to put this up on Elevate Presents to where all salespeople can come back to this thing, and then if there's any questions, type in those questions, we'll answer them, so that way for this particular product, we have everything there, and it's just going to help grow this up. So everybody we bring on has the same knowledge, and I'm happy to repeat this over and over and over for anybody that needs it. But this way, as we bring on salespeople, we can say, hey, go check out this video here. If you got any questions or whatnot, there'll be a research, library that we're going to build on this, and we're going to do this every week with a new product. And then I don't know if we're going to do this during the mornings or at nights, just because we find I don't know what's going to be best, because sometimes people do this as a full-time, some people do this as a part-time. But again, if you can't make these meetings, you'll always be able to come back and do a catch-up, and then you can ask us questions through the YouTube, and that should be good. So we have found that the hardest thing is the education. So hopefully this is going to be an education tool for all that stuff. So if I don't got any more questions, I'm going to call this an end, and I'm going to say thank you for everybody participating in this. Thank you for the support. We can't do this without everybody in this thing. So thank you. And always feel free to hit me up with questions. If I don't get back to you, I will get back to you. Worst case, 48 hours, but I'll try to get back to you within 1 or 2 hours. Because without that, I know you guys can't succeed, and I want you guys to succeed because your success is my success. So thanks a lot. What's that?
I said good to see you.
Yeah.
I didn't get that again, Annie. Sorry.
Well, we'll talk to you later.
All right. Love y'all, and we'll see